All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Hello, 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 family. I hope everybody is having an amazing day. I hope everybody is having a great day. Sorry. Okay. Are we ready for this amazing topic? I have been waiting for this day because usually I'm off on Tuesdays. But I've been watching the news and I've been watching the internet. I've been watching um, YouTube and watching, just to see if I was going to hear anything about the disaster that happened on Saturday. I hope my volume good? I hope it's good. I've been watching the disaster that I've been looking up, I should say, up on YouTube, the disaster that happened on Stone Mountain on Saturday, and I've been waiting for our brothers and sister Black media in NBC, ABC, CBC, CNN. I've been waiting on them to have to make such a big to do about it, like they did when NFAC went to Louisville, Kentucky. And from what I could gather, on Saturday, the three percenters, okay, Boogaloo Boys, or whatever you want to call them, they were there, and it was a mess compared to. I was comparing, the two. I was comparing NFAC, the militia, and I was comparing the three percenters, okay, to see what the difference was, because the three percenters say that Grandmaster is not this, that, and the other. So I wanted to see how they represented themselves compared to NFAC, how they represented themselves. From what I see, NFAC, I got to give it to you, brothers. I got to give it to you 100%. You guys represent. You guys had uniforms on. You guys had your weapons. You had your mask. Yes, you had a lot of, you had all black on, which you look good out there. From what I saw from the Boogaloo Boys, three percenters, no uniform. You couldn't tell who was who. Everybody was crowded together. How do you tell the difference in who's for you and who's not if you got everybody mixed in together? That's kind of a little scary, I think. If you're gonna go out there and you're gonna do a march or protest or whatever the Boogaloo Boys or the three percenters were doing, I felt it was very dangerous. I saw where I'm gonna talk first about the three percenters first, and then I'm gonna get on the my love for my own. And oh boy, that's another. We're gonna talk about that one, but I just want us to understand something. We are supposed to be our brother's keeper. I didn't hear none of my black media, none of my woke folk. I didn't see where anybody had anything to say um, about the incident that happened in Stone Mountain. Okay, it was a lot of confusion. We did have gunfire there. It was a lot going on that day. It was a lot, but I didn't hear where anybody had anything to say about the messiness, the confusion, the gunfire. The protesters ran the three percenters away. The three percenters were a little afraid. They did get, first the police were there, and then the three percenters ran behind, wanting the police to protect them. And of course, the police got in their cars and they drove off. The police was like, "I'm not getting up in this mess," and they left. They left them there, okay. And they were looking like, "Oh my God!" It was like I think 12 of them. Okay, they had, it was only about 12 of them there. And it was kind of funny because they said we went to the police, because the police car was, parked at a certain spot, and they wanted the police to have their back, and they'd seen the mob coming, so they, said we was gonna get and allow the police to have our backs, and we were going to be able to watch the front. But no, that didn't happen like that, because when the police saw them coming and saw what they were doing, the police took off. Okay. And I think he said, the one guy said the police didn't come back for like 5 hours. Okay. So it was kind of, and they were upset because the police didn't protect them. But the police was like, "You getting yourself in a mess. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining, Philip." Um, Of course, I was going to talk about it. You think I was going to let this go? Are you kidding? I was just giving some other people time to talk about it. But oh yeah, I was going to bring it up. Okay, I wanted to get on Sunday, but I didn't have enough information. So I said, let me do more research, and then I was going to get on. Definitely was going to get on. And if you want to get on, you can. Hi, Jill. How are you? Um, who are the three presenters? They are the white folk. Oh, thank you, Jill. Thanks a lot. Boy, I tell you, they quiet, ain't they? They quiet as mice. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be laughing this whole. I'm telling you, they so quiet. They so embarrassed. They are so embarrassed. It's so funny because everybody had so much to say when Jay was doing it right. Everybody was trying to say, "Oh, he didn't know this, he didn't know that," and they was doing this, and they had so much to say. But let me just tell you one thing: when you try to talk about somebody, that very thing comes right back to bite you in your behind. And boy, they kept their tails toe up out there. They tucked their tails and had to run. I mean, it was so funny just seeing how the mob was, the protesters were, coming after them, and the guy was on he was whining, oh my God, they calling us racist, and he tried to talk about Antifa, and he tried to say the Antifa were black, and no, the Antifa are all mostly white. From my understanding, the Antifa are white, right? The Antifa's white, and then he talked to Black Lives Matter, and he said, "Oh, the black people, the Black Lives Matter was doing this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "No, here you are again. Most of the Black Lives Matter are white folk, okay? You had a lot of Antifa there, but Antifa had so much black on that this dude kept calling the Antifa nigga." Kept saying Negroes or niggas. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. But I'm looking at it, all you could see was the guy's eyes, and you could see a little bit, but he was white. Okay, but you wouldn't be able to tell that because Antifa has all black on, right? The black mask, the black, but he had on glasses, so you could see that he was white, right? But the guy kept calling him a black guy. I guess he wanted, to kind of, make it seem more interesting, right? It was so funny. The one guy, the Antifa did have a weapon. He had a gun in his hand, and the guy kept, showing his, kept the phone because he was taping at the time. So he kept the phone on the guy's weapon, and he was so pissed off, and he was just kept saying, "Oh, the guys, threatening to kill us, and they threatened to do this, and they threatened to do that," and this dude was scared. Y'all need to pull up the video. I'm just saying. This dude was so terrified out there. He was like shaking in his boots. He said, "It's only 12 of us, so we outnumbered. And oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen." And, and he kept, telling people, cover my six. Okay, only Army guys. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to take it means his back, because it was only 12 of them against like mobs of people. So you could hear the fear. And he was saying, we're going to, okay, after they left, the one guy was still there because one guy in Antifa was kind of antagonizing the leader, right? And the leader was a little afraid because he was like telling the police. He kept marching close to the police, right? He was like, "Watch his hands, watch his hands." He kept saying, "Watch his hands, watch his hands." I mean, it was the funniest thing ever. This is what happened when you try to talk about somebody and you don't have yours together. You should have taken notes, and I put on his thing. You should have taken notes from the nfac, but you would have made it. I'm sorry. Y'all help me out here. I'm trying to get it out without this. It was so funny. They should have taken notes from the nfac. I'm sorry. In order for you to talk, you need to have some lessons. You should have watched the video as far as how organized nfac was. They had theirs in a line. They had people, yes, people was marching on the side, but it wasn't a mob. They didn't have mobs marching with them. Okay. The 3%ers, which were the white folk, they had the mobs marching. They had everybody mixed together. They had Antifa marching, the Black Lives Matters marching. They had everybody just stuffed together, which looked like a mess. So how do you know your enemy from your friend? How do you know your friend from your foe if you got everybody in the mix? Okay. To have everybody in mix is very unsafe. Now you want to talk about safety. That was the safety issue for me. I'm thinking, I'm like, I would have been looking like, well, who could I trust? I got so many people in the midst of this whole mess. It looked like a mob of people. It just looked like a mob that was just walking, just marching, just walking, just protesting like you would have any other protest. That's what it looked like, a protest. And that's exactly, but you have to understand, in the nfac is a militia. Is not, they don't march, they don't protest, they do formations, which is totally different. So if they didn't understand the difference, they should have watched a couple of Jay's videos in order to understand how we need to line this thing up and how we need to have our 12 people, maybe 6 in the front and 6 in the back, or maybe 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. And and then they could add a little space in between, where the mob wasn't, so close to him. And it was just so funny just to hear this guy whine through the whole video of how they were protected and how Antifa, how the niggas, that's the word he used. Okay. He kept calling the Antifa boy a nigga which he was not black. He was white. So I'm thinking, well, maybe he's getting it mixed up because he saw all black clothes. Maybe that confused him. I don't know what it was, but it was fear. And they did have a little fear. We have to understand we are our brother's keeper. Okay. And he talked about Jay being not a godly man or something because he talks one way. He said, well, he talks about the Bible. Then another way, out of his mouth, he talking about a militia. He's talking about marching. He's talking about, he was trying to compare. And I'm like, dude, do you not know David in the Bible was a warrior? But he was a man after God's own heart. Was he not, family? Okay, David in the Bible. You guys ever read the Bible? David in the Bible was a warrior. He wasn't no chump. He wasn't no fool, and he would take you out. That's how David was. David killed up so many people, but he still had God's heart. He still had a heart after God. But you have to understand, same way. I see him as David. Okay. I don't see him no different. But you have to understand, a lot of them want us to be forgiven. They so used to the old black, the black leaders. They so used to the old MLK, the Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, the Elijah Cummings, the John Lewises, the sellouts, right? Who they used to beating upside the head and beating the hell out of and kicking them down the road. They're so used to seeing that type of black folk, the sellouts, the coons, okay, the ones that the government now has paid for them to work for them, to confuse us, to make us think that they still working with us. But I'm gonna tell you what, when you got a whole lot of black folk that's got white folk backing them, you better believe that they're safe. They're no threat to them. So that's why they can get behind the John Lewises and Elijah Cummings and say, oh, they were great men. But the Carmichaels and the Martin Luther Kings and the Malcolm X's and nfac, Jay, they're not going to say that about him. They got so much to say about these brothers because they're a threat. Okay, because they're scared of those. Okay, those type of men. That's that masculine. That's that masculinity that they not used to. Okay, that's the real men. Okay, that's the real 100% black man. And you got these 3% are scared. Okay, Jay got these dudes scared out of their boots because they're not used to black men like that. They're not used to that type of black man. They don't know how to handle him. Yes, Antifa is 99% white. Yes, it is. Let me see. Everybody, even black people, was saying they needed training. Yes, in hindsight, yes, they do. Hold on, I'm trying to read your comment. I keep pressing on it and keep moving. Okay. Actually, formation. And yes, the formation was disciplined. Yes, they had order. They was ready and they looked good compared to, if you will pull it up, these people look a hot mess. And you know what? I'm gonna try to find it because I got to show you because it looked a mess, you guys. I'm telling you, it was terrible. I looked up there and I was like, what in the world is going on there? They had stuff all over the place. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Let me try to pull up one guy who was talking about it. But it's time, if it's time for them to get a little training under their belt, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you what, it didn't look pretty at all out there. It looked a hot mess, and it looked like somebody needed some help or some training, and he could actually get some training from Jay. He could use a lot of some pointers. Okay, I mean they was fighting out there. I don't know if you'd be able to see this. Lord have mercy, these fools. Let me just see if y'all can see this. Hold on, I just gotta show y'all. They were fighting out there. Can y'all see that? These fools out here. I'm sorry. Can y'all see them fools out there? I think they was out there fighting, and they had a mob. I'm trying to see. They had a mob out there, and can y'all see that? Lord, please help me. I'm trying to show it to y'all. It was so funny. They had the mob marching, and they had so many people out there. They have no order, y'all. I mean, it was just people everywhere. No order, confusion, disaster. And they did have a gun, a weapon went off. They said one person got hurt, but they didn't talk much about that. I couldn't get much information on that the person was he shot. They didn't have a whole lot of information as far as what happened. They did just they said it in the passing that one person got injured, but they didn't say what happened. It was just terrible. Just to look at it on the video, you just laughing to yourself because you're like, you had the nerves to talk about a man that had a formation that had it together. It was in order. Everybody was lined up. Everybody straight row. It was, you didn't have a whole mob walking. You had a little, bystanders on the side, but they had room in between the formation. They were walking on the sidewalks. Okay, they weren't like all mixed in together. And that's the greatest part about it. I'm telling you, it was just a beautiful thing to see Black men in uniform, which they had no uniforms, so you couldn't tell who was who. And it was just the hottest mess ever. But it's just so amazing at how the pot try to talk about the cattle when the pot, when the cattle was actually better than the pot. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You can't talk about somebody if you doing not doing better than them. You cannot talk about somebody else's stuff if you got your stuff raggedy. Okay, and there was a hot mess. It was raggedy. It was raggedy. But he was whining about how the police wouldn't protect, and he was whining about the Antifa, and he was, the dude that was doing the video was doing a whole lot of whining. I didn't hear anything, else but whining why he wasn't a racist, why he wasn't a white supremacist, why he wasn't this, that, the other. And I'm looking at him like, you got a weapon. You came out there to do what? What was the true meaning? What was behind it? Was it to answer the call of July 4th, which was how many 45 days later? You were late. Why weren't you out there July 4th when NFAC was actually out there at Stone Mountain? Because you made a threat July that you were going to start killing Black folk July 4th at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. and Grandmaster NFAC answered that call and came to your house, and you weren't home, knocked on the door and everything, and you weren't there. Yeah, they had a circus. Yeah. Oh my God, you guys, please help me. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was a mess. I can't, girl. Oh my Lord, help me. I'm trying to do this thing without really I just want to get on the floor. When I saw that, I was like in my house on the floor, rolling in the floor. It was so funny because when you see the video and you hear this man, he just doing a whole lot of whining and why the police wouldn't protect him. And oh my God. Wait a minute. Okay, let me try to get together. So the bigger picture. I'm sorry. I was trying to get it. I can't believe these people actually had so much to say, but you got out there making a fool of yourself. Okay, you got out there. I'm gonna try to get through this. Y'all help me. They couldn't even get a permit. It was shameful. It was terrible. They couldn't get a permit, and they thought the police was gonna protect them. They thought the police was gonna protect them. They ran up to the police car, and the police drove away. They thought they was gonna have protection. I'm crying and everything. Y'all, please forgive me. Oh God. They thought the police was gonna protect him. They run up to the police car, and the police car took off. So he had no cover. He was whining about that. He had no cover. Oh God. Okay, let me calm down. Okay, I'm trying to get this out. Oh God, they chased him. Yes, they chased him, and they were scared. You could hear. He said, "Oh my God, it's only 12 of us, and it's a gang of gang of protesters." They was over there by the church, right? It was a church out there, and they said, "Let's keep our backs up against the church, right? So nobody will come behind them." They was trying to keep they wanted the police to protect their backs, but they let the church protect their backs because the police left them out there. So okay, let me try it again. So my thing is, if you're going to talk about somebody, at least have yours together. At least have yourself together. At least be able to look better than what you're talking about. have it together. Don't go out there and make a fool out of yourself. I guess they called themselves answering the call, but they made the threat. So Jay kind of answered the call first, and they were supposed to be home, and they weren't home. So of course Jay did his militia, formation, and then left. And then now, 45 days later, here you got the 3%ers coming out talking about they answering a call 45 days later. They only had 12 people, 130 people, 12 people out there. Okay, 12 of them with only 10 guns. I'm trying to get through this, y'all. Stop. Andre, okay. 12 of them with 10 guns, yes. So, yes, they didn't have a whole lot of guns, okay? But my thing is, they did a whole lot of talking. But my thing is, the media wasn't the media. You see, I mean, they dogged our brother Jay for 2 weeks, did they not? They dogged him for weeks. I'm not even gonna say 2 weeks, it was weeks they dogged him out, right? But you didn't hear the white media make a big deal out of gunfire that was fired. Okay, you can hear it on the video. Gunfire was fired. They did fire their weapons. But you couldn't find out a lot of information if anybody got hurt or if anybody went to the hospital. It was just really super short commentary about the gunfire was fired, and they kind of left it alone. Okay. No, yeah, the two others had slingshot. Yes, yes, I like that one. Yes. So they didn't, talk a lot about it. The black media, which call themselves woke, they didn't have much to say about it. And that part I don't understand. I don't understand if we're supposed to be in this together, if we're supposed to be free, and we're talking about being free, and we're talking about being so woke. Why is it so hard for Black people? And I'm gonna answer this question on Thursday, because I am going to do a show on Thursday, and we're gonna talk about PTSD. We're really gonna talk about PTSD because being a people that have suffered for 400 years and still counting of trauma, hatred, rage, anger, jealousy, all of the negative, all the negativity that our Black men face every day. My hat goes off to my Black men. I love you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I know you guys going through hell in these Americas. I'm so glad I'm not a man, because I don't know how y'all do it. I would be fighting every day. I would have been in jail, because I'd have been, I just, my hat goes off to you. Thank you, you guys, for the ones that standing up for your woman, and you protecting your woman, and you standing behind Jay, and you're backing him up, and you really have a heart for him, and you guys are willing to support him. I'm grateful, because I look at us and I know that we are very wounded people. We have in our DNA is trauma in our DNA. It's very hard for us to break this cycle of us coming against each other. And that's the sad part about it, because we've been trained by our enemies to protect them. In automatic mode, we go into an automatic protection mode. I saw a man on the video, and the police officer was laying on the ground fighting with one of his own, which was a white guy. It was two white on white. It was police officer was white, and the guy was white that he was fighting. Do you not know a Black man, two Black men jumped in the middle to help the police officer out for him to arrest this white guy? I'm looking at that and I'm like, we are so sick. We are so sick, family. Why? How many, for one, would that white guy, would he have helped you out if they saw where you were being, you were being harassed? Do you ever see white folks stepping in trying to help Black folk? Do you ever see white folk coming in, and saying something? Do you ever see a white person coming to your defense? We always want to come to their defense for something. We always want to protect them, but you have to understand that's the part of that PTSD. That's the part of that sickness that we have from being up under our enemy for so many years. And I'm telling you, it has gotten to a place where Black folk will not fight. We will not speak up. We will not talk. They talking trash. We don't say anything. It's almost like we've switched places with them, because I'm gonna tell you, when we were young, a white person wouldn't even look our way. We would beat the hell out of them. We didn't play. They didn't say nothing. They didn't talk to us. They didn't say nothing slick out the mouth, because they would get a backhand slip and a punch. They would get a backhand slap and a couple punches too. They didn't say nothing. They didn't bother us. They knew their place. Now it's almost like they trying to put us in a place, in their place, and they trying to switch places. But I'm gonna tell you what, y'all better start practicing your Second Amendment. I see Black folks still walking out here around the neighborhood with no weapons, no knives, and definitely don't no mace. You're gonna bring mace to a fight. I heard a black person, a black person that's on YouTube, a black man, and he was talking about some mace. And I'm like, brother, you gonna bring mace to a gunfight? Really? What are you talking about? Why didn't you advertise a gun? Why didn't you advertise us to get our practice, our Second Amendment? Why aren't you standing behind that? My thing is, when I hear a lot of black folk talking against our brother, Grandmaster, NFAC, and I mean they talking against it because it's so different. This thing is going. This thing is globally. Okay, he's trying to get how many? 1 million people to march. He's trying to get 1 million people marching. I'm so proud of that brother. And I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you, black folk, men need to be. I think more women are for him than men because a lot of men are jealous. I think a lot of men is not used to that masculinity, that male masculinity that he holds. I think they're very intimidated by that. And no, I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect any man. I'm just saying, I think that there are a lot of men that have been buck broken. The balls is just, I mean, it's just is they're not, men just aren't the same as they used to be. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not trying to disrespect you guys because I love my men, but I want you guys, I want us to come together on purpose. I want us to start thinking on purpose about our brother. I want us to start thinking about we're gonna protect our brother. We're gonna, they hurt a hair. We're gonna rise up locally. We're gonna rise up globally. We're gonna rise up. I mean, we have to make this clear that if you touch this brother, we rising up. You ain't gonna have to worry about China for your civil war. You don't have to worry about China. You don't have to worry about Russia. You're going to look at right here at home, these black folk rising up. Seriously, we have to get to a point where we are protecting our own. We have to get to a point where we let them know that you touch this one like you did MLK, or if you touch this one like you did Malcolm X, we're going to touch you. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, you guys. We have got to stick together. As far as the white media, I mean, I didn't hear anybody having anything to say about this disaster that happened on Friday, Saturday. And I'm pissed about it. I'm like, you guys allowed them to get away with talking about our brother. You talked about our brother. We ain't got to worry about the Klan killing us because we terrorize ourselves. We tear down ourselves. We make us look bad. Okay. Do we want to be free or not? That's the question I'm asking most black folk. Do we want to be free or not? It don't seem like it to me. It seems like you want, I'm thinking about the thing where the master's house catches on fire and you got all the slaves running to put out the master's house fire. Are you crazy? Let it burn. I would have been looking at them like, are y'all crazy? Let that house burn down. I'd have went back to bed. I'm serious. I would have got up, looked, and seen it wasn't my little piece of room, and I would have took my butt back to bed because I'm not going to sit up there and save my enemies nothing. We have to be to the point where we know and recognize who our enemy is. We're not recognizing the enemy. This is why we can do what we do. We're not recognizing our enemy. We're not teaching our children who the enemy is because I see a lot of children right now calling white folk friends. That's not your friend. I see a lot of black parents talk about, oh, we all equal. No, we're not. I don't know where we get this equal. We're not equal nothing. They don't consider you equal. We the only one consider our enemies friends. We the only one consider our enemies equal. Everybody, we the only ones that holler, oh, black and brown. Black and brown. Brown don't ever holler black and brown. I never hear the brown folk hollering, oh, black and brown, nothing. I hear them talking about the brown people, period. But I don't ever hear the black and brown mentioning black folk at all. We be the only one that include everybody. It just pisses me off. I was talking to a lady, on my Facebook page, and we were talking about, she came out her mouth and say, we all the same, and she had white Jesus on her page, and I said, at least get the right color up there. I sent her a picture of a black Jesus, okay, a black Jesus, and she said, who is that? I said, oh my God, I said, you are so pitiful. And I didn't mean to hurt the woman's feeling, but I think I did. But we are so used to seeing white Jesus with the blonde hair, the blue eyes. And I'm like, why don't you look that dude up? Why don't you do some homework? You've been in a pandemic. You've been in a reset for how many months? What did you do the 4 months that you've been in your house? She says she's retired. Okay, what have you been doing the 3 or 4 months that we've been locked in our houses? Have you done any research, family? Are you really understanding what's really going on? This right here is this. America will never go back to the way it was. This was our turn or our time to do the research to really find out who we are. I tell her, I said, did you look up Stephen Darby? Okay, he has 3 videos that'll help you out. Is They Jacked Us, Who We Are, and Negro Land. Look at those 3 videos, and that'll help you to understand who we are. That'll start you on the right path. That's if you're ready to learn. But if you want to stay stuck and stay asleep, go ahead and stay stuck and stay asleep. Keep the white Jesus up there. I say everybody's God look like them but ours. What's wrong with us having a black God? They got a Chinese God. They got which is Buddha, who was black at first. Y'all do your homework. I'm just saying they changed him to be a Chinese white guy. But Buddha was black. Come on, you guys, do your homework. Am I right? Buddha was black. Okay. We have to get to the place where we're supporting our own. We have to recognize our friends from our foes, and we have to stop calling people agents. Because my thing is with NFAC, I hear a lot of people talking about he's an agent. Give me proof. I don't want to hear anybody else's mouth after this Saturday. Nobody had anything to say when white folks sat up there and did the same thing, but worse, because they shot somebody and nobody had nothing to say. Nobody came on and said anything. It was quiet as mouses. I mean, I went on the white boys' pages to see what they was talking about. I had to put the video. I posted the video of Jay laughing at them on their page. I'm just saying. I sure did. I posted the video of Jay laughing at them on their pages, because it's time for them to understand that we scatter y'all, and it's not about fear. The NFAC is a defense. We're not. We don't come out there starting. We're not coming out there trying to kick nobody. We're not. We are trying to get people to solve murders. We're out there to get people. We're trying to be the new defense of the 2020 new defense team for America. That's what we're trying to do. That's what he's trying to set up, and he's trying to do it globally, not globally. Okay, which means other countries. But right now, we need it to be nationally for America. It should be a chapter in every neighborhood, every city, every black area. It should be a chapter of the NFAC. And you guys know what that stands for. It is time for us to do something different. We don't need white folk KKK officers coming to our neighborhood and treating us like dirt. And we definitely don't need the black ones coming in treating us like they trying to impress the white officers. Because guess what? You take them to the back of the house and you beat the hell out of them. You're going to learn how to act when you come up in this neighborhood. You ain't going to act out because you trying to impress white folk. No. We need the NFAC who's going to be fair, who's going to come in the neighborhood, and they're going to patrol, and they're doing a nationwide, going from state to state now, trying, and they want you guys to have your areas, your chapters already set up. So I am hoping that we as black folk will get on board and set those chapters instead of running our mouths. We should have a 611 number to call disconnected to the NFAC, so that we can call them, because a chapter is set up in Virginia, a chapter be set up in North Carolina, a chapter be set up in Boston, a chapter be set up in Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana. I'm just saying we should have an NFAC nationwide in every city, and we should have more than one, because some states are super huge. So you should be able to call the nearest chapter, and they be there within 30 minutes, or they be there within 15 minutes. Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is how many chapters we need. We don't just need one in each city. We need several in every black city, and in every black area of that city. We need an NFAC. So when the police is called and the police spend a lot of time in the black area, we need to get on board, and we need to be dialing them phones and say, "Hey, NFAC, we need you here at such address." And 15 minutes they're there, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes they're there. I'm just saying, it is time for us. If we want to be free, yes, I think they should be defunding the police. I think they should be dismantling the police. But if we're going to ask them to dismantle the police, we should have something else in place until, to step in to take the police's positions, to take their place. We can't ask them to dismantle or defund something and we don't have a replacement. Until we get that replacement, we cannot ask them to dismantle. So get busy, fellas. Okay, y'all got y'all the areas. Get busy. The ones that's going to look at this show, who has an area, and you're a leader, form your own chapters, because it's time for us to have NFAC nationwide. Okay, but I'm just really I was just really upset, and I wasn't trying to be on here long, but I was really upset because I didn't see where the black media, the ones that had so much to say, and a couple of black folk that I've seen that come on, some guy by the Moore, somebody, I don't even know his whole, I even went on his page, and the ones that really had something to say against NFAC, I put the video on their page of Grandmaster laughing at the Boogaloo Boys. I put that on their page because I need them to understand that it is time for us to get together. It's time for us to come together and to support our own. Okay. And stop talking about somebody being an agent if you don't have any proof. I have not seen any proof. I've seen them say it, but I've not seen them come with paperwork. Show me some paperwork. Show me where you've had pictures of him with the FBI. Show me where you've had some kind of proof. Just because you say, I could say, oh, the sky, the sky is red. Okay, and everybody look at me, well, sky is red, but do I have proof? Come on, you guys. Let's have some proof when we say something. I'm starting to look at them as agents, the ones that's been hollering that they're agents, because one person in particular who was going against the ADOS, he formed his own chapter, and he's not done anything with that chapter yet, from my understanding. I'm just saying, if you're going to come against something and you're going to replace it with something to actively do something. Don't just replace it with something that I'm kind of looking at you questionable now. So you hollering somebody as an agent, I'm looking at you and I'm asking, are you the agent? Okay. I'm just saying, just yes, we are the real Jews of the Bible. Yes, we need to keep spreading that word. Too many of us Black folk don't know this. We know what, until somebody white, we can say it all day long, Jill, until somebody white says it, until somebody white gives us the okay to believe it, we're not going to believe it. Because I was talking to the lady last night and I was telling her who we really are. And she looked at me, she had, she was looking at me all sideways thinking, like I'm crazy. Yep. You're right, Jill. Black folk need to support Black folk only. The whites and the browns aren't trying to include Black folks in anything. You're right. You are so right. And you know what? Another thing that's really bothering me is how we as Black folk are voting Democrat, and we have not. And I'm not saying to vote either way. I'm just saying we as a group of people, we should come together as a group, and we should come together as a Black collective, a whole, and say, okay, these are our demands. This is what we need, and our vote is up for bid. Whoever is going to give us what's on our list, whoever is going to cover us, whoever we can put our money behind. And yes, I do believe that when we start putting money behind these candidates, we'll begin to see them do something for Black people. A lot of time, they don't do anything for us because we don't put money behind them and we don't support them. Okay, just like locally, we just had a Paul Howard, okay, in Georgia. He was running, we didn't support. He put his neck out on the line for us, and I'm gonna keep saying this, Georgia, y'all in trouble. He put his neck out on the line for Black folk. He arrested the police officer. Now, this was the DA. He arrested the police officer that shot our brother Brooks, right? The police officer got felony charges, and the white folk got mad. So they got a person in his office, Fannie Willis, okay? They got her. There's police union is supporting her. The attorney of the police officer that shot Brooks gave her donations. I'm just saying, how can you represent, or how can you bring charges against somebody that's supporting you, that you're working for? So this Fanny person is actually working for the police. She's got the police union behind her. And usually if the police union is not going to get behind you, if they cannot trust you, or they cannot count on you, or they don't have you in their pocket. Okay, let's think about that, Black folk. When we see a person like Obama, a whole lot of white folk are behind the Obamas, right? Why? Because Obama, he was safe for them. He was no threat for them. So why so let that be a lesson and help us to understand that anytime a lot of white folk is standing behind somebody that's Black, like John Lewis, okay, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, they love them, right? Because they're safe, they're no threat. So that's why they can get behind them. And we fail to recognize a Black face. Just because I'm Black, just because it's a Black face, look at what's coming out of their mouth, look at the actions, and look who's supporting them. If you see a lot of white folks supporting them, that's not somebody we need to get behind. So we have to start recognizing those, and we have to start putting money behind our candidates, just like the Jews put money behind the APAC, right? And APAC and the NRA, white folk put money behind the NRA. So when they need something, they go to the NRA, who they've already put millions behind, and they said, hey, we need da-da-da. And guess what? They get it because they got money in the game behind them. We didn't put any money behind Paul Howard. So guess what? Fannie Willis won. Black folk got behind this woman who was supported by the police officer, and they totally did not allow Paul Howard to finish the job. They should have left him in office to see if he was going to continue back in Black folk. Support him, because who else is going to stick their neck out for Black people? Nobody else is going to stick their neck out. I mean, I wouldn't now in Georgia. I would stick my neck out for them Black folk because Paul Howard did, and they totally disregarded him. Now this dude got white folk on his tail. He got white He got the white, the white, what the police officers, the union against him, behind him. They are trying to get rid of him. They're trying to bring him up on charges, and he has no help. And he stuck his neck out for black folk. And what did we do? We slapped him, we pissed on him, and we looked at him and said, "The hell with you!" And we went with the coon. We got to stop doing that. Stop supporting these coons. Just like John Lewis, he did nothing for black folk, and you got black folk being mad because I talked about the man when he died. I don't care. He was a coon. I'm not sitting up there. I am not going to support coons. I am not going to support people that don't support or don't have a heart or that are not B1 first. And when I say B1, I mean people that love their own people, people that got their own people's back, people that's watching out for their own. I am not going to support somebody that does not have a heart for black folk. And John Lewis, Elijah Cummings, Fannie Mae Willis, or Fannie Willis does not have a heart for black folk. So why are we supporting her again? Why are we supporting Kamala Harris? Did you guys hear her record? Her record it sucks. That woman is very angry against black men. She is mad at black men because her dad disregarded her. Her dad disowned her. So she's taken her frustrations, her anger out on black men, and she put him in jail. She's had True Love, one guy that went to jail, and he didn't even commit the crime. She knew it. She put him in jail. But he spent 7 years in jail, 6.5 years in jail. They released him, but guess what? They gave him $13 million. That's not enough because 7 years of his life, he was in jail, fighting for his life, probably fighting a whole lot of other stuff. But guess what? They know what they be doing. And these DAs, and she would not support. She supported the police officers. She was known as the DA that supported police officers. So let me tell you what, black folk, if you think you dying now, you put that evil woman who's not even black, who's not even saying she's black in office, and more of us are going to die. You go ahead. You better look at her record. Somebody said, Karen on YouTube, she goes, well, we don't care about her record. You better care about her record because that record is showing you who she is. Biden's record shows you who he is. Biden is the biggest racist ever. He is one of those hidden racists. He coded him a KKK card. Trump just let you know that he got his card, but Biden, he got his card in his wallet. Trump has his card on his sleeve, okay? Trump has his wallet, his card up on his sleeve, and he letting everybody know, yes, I'm a racist. Yes, I don't like black folk, but guess what? Biden got his in his wallet, and he fooling y'all black folk like crazy. And black folks say, well, that was 20 years ago. Okay, but let me ask you a question. That might have been 20 years ago, but what are they promising black folk now? I've not heard a black agenda. I've heard a minority agenda. That does not mean they're talking about black folk. Because you holler minorities, that could be mean the Indians, that could mean women, that could mean the Spanish, that could mean hunchback, that could mean crippled people, that could mean one leg folk, that one arm people, one eye people. They could be meaning anybody, people with curls, people with straight hair, people with orange hair. It could mean anybody. Until they say black, BLACK folk, this is what I'm gonna do for you. Stop believing in when they say minority, that they're not talking about you, black family. So stop acting like you don't understand what's going on. And you're about to vote for somebody talking about the best of two evils. How we get the best of two evils? Isn't evil? What do you mean the best of two evils? I don't understand the best of two evils. I don't understand that when people say that. I don't understand that. So we have to stop supporting people that look like us. And just because they look like us, if they don't have a heart for you, stop supporting them. And I'm gonna tell you what, I keep going into. I don't even want to talk about that. I want to stay on this nfac thing. I want to stay on how the Boogaloo Boys made a clown of themselves. But I want us as black folk to start sticking together on purpose. I want us to know that we have got to really stop hurting each other. We got to be there for each other. And yes, we are our brother's keeper. Stop looking for a mistake. Stop looking for us to do something crazy. Stop looking just so you can have something to say. Stop doing that. Why can't you just support your brother until he shows you something different? We support him. Why aren't we supporting him more? Why are we not just supporting him just because he's our brother? For you, and I look at him and I said, man, a lot of black folk against him, a lot of white folk against him. You don't see a whole lot of white folk backing him. He's safe. He got your back. I've been told y'all to start recognizing who has your back and who does not, who's safe for us and who's not. Those coons ain't safe for you. Those coons will sell you out. Those coons will get you killed, family. Those coons will sell you out. Why do you think Jay said a lot of his front line are women? Because he know once a woman knows that you got her and she can count on you and you her security, we got you. We gonna take care of our own. I'm gonna tell you what, them women will come out of a bag in a minute. You know us women. We ain't playing. And and that's who he is protecting him. That's sad. Where the men? You can't trust the men around you. Where are the men? Because I'm gonna tell you, it's time for us to look out for our own. We have been doing this for way too long. Let's get organized. Let's get on code. Let's build a code. Let's start training our own babies so that we can put them back on code, because we lost the code. The code of behavior is gone. The heritage culture that was stripped away from us. So we have to understand a lot of who we were. It was gone. It was taken from us. So we don't know how to be on code. We don't know how to protect each other. We don't know how to speak up for each other. We don't know how to cover each other. Let's start doing this. Let's start taking this time of educating our own children. We have to get back on code and start looking out for our own. When are we going to do this? Yes, get your gun permit. Yes, 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 yes. We have to start protecting one another. Don't get on the bandwagon talking about your brother. Why would you jump on that bandwagon? I got on one dude's page, and I didn't cuss him out, but when I got done saying what I need to say, it was almost like I cussed him out, because I'm tired of it. I've had enough. We got enough to be fighting. We got enough. We feel like we fight white folk, we fight police officers, we fight everybody and we even fight black folk. We fight our own that look like us, but white folk didn't put them up. They set them up against our own, and we fight them. I don't want to fight them. I'm tired. We need to get rid of them coons, and we need to go in just like the Haitians. Okay, when they was getting ready to do some things, they went in and they took care of their own. That was coons. They owned that. They knew that they was going to not stand up and stand with them, and they took care of them. Okay, that they took care of them. But we've got to get to the point where we are dealing with the coons. We're dealing with the Cardi B's. We're dealing with the people that's disrespecting us, because that is disrespect. All of that, what, all that crazy, whatever you call it, that's disrespecting the Black culture. You mean to tell me you couldn't think, this is how you think of us? You want to portray us as hoes? You want to teach our children how to be hoes? Are you serious? I ain't gonna get on that right now. I'm gonna try to keep it focused on, my boy. Okay. But I want to see us moving forward. I don't want to hear nobody else coming out of their mouth and saying anything about the NFAC. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If you didn't say nothing about these white boys, I don't want to hear you saying nothing. I don't want to hear. They didn't even mention the gunshot. They ain't even mentioned nothing about that. Black folk ain't said nothing about the gunshot. Black folk ain't said nothing about the Boogaloo Boys. They ain't say nothing about how there was confusion everywhere. It was a big mess. It looked like a circus out there. Looked like they was just out there looking a fool. They was fighting. They was burning flags. They was beating up each other. I'm like, how you gonna go up there? You come up there, you trying to support whatever you were supporting, and y'all didn't turn on each other. They had the pastor up there. He was out there preaching, out there teaching. Some guy that was preaching. They didn't pop him in the mouth. They didn't beat him up, send him off running. Man, I'm telling you, it was just a mess out there. That's all I'm gonna say. Even the police was not even supporting them. Okay. I'm trying to see what else I need to mention. I'm not gonna be on here long, you guys. I just wanted to be on here a few minutes. I talked about knowing the organization. Yeah, it was a big deal when Black folks marched. Okay. You know what? Let me say one thing. Why was Black folk there? Tell me why Black folk was there. I don't understand. That was not your fight. This is how Black folk get hurt. Now, you knew a bunch of 3%ers was going to be out there, right? Why would you go out there? I don't understand that. That wasn't your fight. And when I see Black folk out of place like that, they need to be beat down. Seriously. Whatever happens to you, see, you look at Black folk that go and get in places like that, and they end up dying, right? Because you ain't had no business out there. You got to know your place. You got to know when you're supposed to be there, when you're not. And that was not a day. That was not a time for you to be out there. Okay. They out there shooting each other. They out there fighting each other. They out there just beating up on each other. And you got nerves to be there. I don't understand why you were there. You ain't had no reason to be there. Okay. Um, I'm telling you, the guy that was doing the commentary, he was scared. If you would pull up that video, he was scared. And like I said, they only had 12 people. That's something. That is really I what was your team at? Okay. Grandmaster had what, 1,500 at the first march? And what, 65 at the next? Come on. And the next was September 5th, right? You guys know September 5th, they going back to Louisville. I'm just saying. Okay, that's the national, the derby, right? I'm just saying, y'all better do what you gotta do and get your stuff together and come on, let's go. Let's go. Okay. But I'm telling you, they had no order. They was yelling at each other. It was just really sad. Okay. But I'm telling you, the protesters, when they saw the protesters coming, they really was afraid. They was, I mean, the video was like, oh my God, you could hear the oh my God in his voice. Here they come. They kept saying, here they come, cover my six, cover my six. Oh dear, they were scared. Okay. But the cops did come back after 5 hours and they had the riot gear on. I guess they wanted them to kill each other up first, and then they was gonna come in and get the bodies. Oh boy, they got a different kind of relationship. I'm serious. They got a different kind of relationship. They out there fighting each other. You're supposed to be marching and you coming against your own. Who does that? See, you have to understand. Let me tell you something. When it's time for us to fight them, if we ever have to, which I don't believe we are ever going to have to, because every chance I've read, every time I've read in the Bible, when they came against Israel, and that's who we are, Yah fought for us. He would either turn them on themselves, right? Remember the one war where it was a small amount of them, like 300, and it was like so many of them, and he turned them on themselves, and they started fighting each other. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we don't have to fight. We're not going to have to fight them. But I am so glad that you guys tuned in. I do have something I need to do today, and I wasn't going to be on here long, but I'm telling you, that was the funniest thing ever. When I saw what I saw, it was just, I just lost it. I just lost it. It's like, what in the world is going on? You did all of that talking. You did all of that talking, and exactly what you talked about, you got up there and did. Gunfire, you shooting each other, and you had the nerves to say something. But the media, that's who I'm getting on, the media. Y'all showing your racism. White media, you showing your racism. You didn't even say anything about them. You didn't have nothing to say about the gunfire. I mean, you might have mentioned it, but you didn't go into details. I mean, it was like breaking news when Jay did it. Oh my God, somebody got shot. 3 people got shot. Da, da, da. It was so many lies going on. And it was just one man that fell out under 100-degree heat. He fell out, dropped his weapon. And I'm going to tell you, that was the grace of God that the bullet hit the ground. That was the grace of God. And I thank God for him just keeping us covered. He kept him covered. He's keeping him covered. And exactly, you have to understand, when you coming against God's chosen, you can't win. You're going to lose every time. You can't win. So I need you to understand. And for them to be so quiet, man, it's almost like they, hush, don't say nothing. They ain't saying nothing. We ain't going to say nothing. We're going to ignore it. No, we ain't going to ignore this. We are not ignoring it. We're going to say it from the sky. We're going to say it from the mountaintop. Y'all look like fools out there. You look like dang fools. Okay? I'm trying not to say what I want to say. But next time you go out there and you try to come up against the NFAC, make sure you got your stuff together. Make sure you got your uniforms. Make sure you got your more than 12 people. Yeah, 12 people. Y'all, they had 12 people. 12. It took them 45 days to get 12 people together. It took them 12 every day, 45 days to get 12 people together. Are you serious? That's all you can muster up. 12 people. Out of all of that talk, he must have had his cousin, his uncle, his dad's brother, his mom's brother, and his mom probably was out there the one that didn't have the weapon. Then he had his 2 grandkids out there. Then he had his neighbors' sons out there, and a couple of the neighbors, right? That's all you can muster up. You had 45 days, and he only got 12 people. 12 people. It took Jay what? How many days to get 1,500? 1,500 people. Okay. He didn't even have as much as the militia that was out there the same time when he was out there. He didn't even have enough people. He didn't even have what? He didn't have 30 people. They had 30 people when they went to Louisville. 30 white militias that was out there. Okay, 30 white protesters or 30 white people another group that was trying to go against them, but they saw how many people was out there with Jay, and they was like, we ain't gonna go out there. They be to slaughtered us. And the man, I heard the man say that. They said, oh no, we ain't going around that corner because they'll take us out in seconds. Because it was only 30 of them, and it was 6,500 of NFAC. I'm just saying. I know, huh, Andre? You get it. I mean, it took them 45 days. I guess they say we're not coming. It's not. I guess they say we coming against the Negroes. 12 people. Okay, I'm just saying. That's a shame. Okay. But I did not want to be on here long, you guys. I had to come, I had to bring it out, I had to come and say something because my thing is, why we're so quiet? Why were we so quiet? You had, I mean, we dogged this dude for months. We dogged him for a long time, okay? For weeks. Okay. I don't want to say months. We dogged him for weeks. And now nobody has anything to say. I hear crickets. Okay. I hear crickets. I hear nothing. I can't believe this. I waited 2 days. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Okay. I said, I got to come on here to say something. Because you mean to tell me, well, I'm not letting this go. Oh, I was determined not to let this go. And I hope other people will get on and have something else to say. Because this is crazy. You did all that talking. And you won't even support your brother. I'm looking at you sideways now. Because if you say that he's an agent, you need to shut up right now. If you don't have proof, if you don't have paperwork, if you don't have pictures, if you don't have something, then shut the hell up. Because you're just talking out your nose. You're just talking out of jealousy. And it's showing, Tariq, talking out of jealousy. I'm not trying to call no names, but I'm telling you, that's crazy. I ain't hear nobody. You got this Moore guy. You could what's that guy? He's a Moore somebody. I don't even know. He's a black guy. And I mean, he had a lot to say. And I'm like, are you serious? Gonna talk about your brother? Even when the militia was out there, he still was talking. He had the militia's picture up there. I mean, he had the protesters, the people, the 12 people. He had their picture up there, but he talked about Grandmaster. And I'm like, are you still doing that? Why? I don't understand that. But you guys, I'm not gonna be on here. That I'm done. I didn't laugh enough. I didn't have my little, I do have something else I need to do today. But I just had to come on here, and I do appreciate everybody that came. I appreciate hit the like button, you guys, so that we can get this video out. Because we want as many that can see this. I want as many that can see this video of us laughing at those clowns. Because that's exactly what they look like, clowns, a bunch of fools. And I hope they have learned from this. Don't talk about your guys. Don't talk about the guy. Don't talk about the black man. Okay, because the black man is gold. Don't talk about the gold. Talk about yourself, because exactly what happened, exactly what you said about them happened to you. You can't talk about us. You are not allowed to dog us anymore. Those days are done. Time up. We got next, and we're going to step into that purpose now. All right, you guys, I do appreciate everybody that tuned in. Share and like this video, and thanks for coming, and we'll see you on Thursday. Remember, Thursday, 7 p.m. I am coming, and we're going to talk about PTSD, because I think we need to talk about that. Thanks for joining, you guys. Peace.